The financial goal that I have is pretty much just to keep afloat, and at this point, I'm not. So the 5-year goal is to be a working actor and writer and just constantly working on creative projects, because that fulfills me. Right now, the finances aren't allowing for that. The issue is money has been like not a priority, and acting and that 5-year goal of being able to work as a creative is my priority.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Be Thyself. Today's episode is going to be with a new guest, as always. Today's guest is Declan. And so I'm going to actually kind of jump in and also introduce, our beautiful host over there all the way in Barcelona, Christelle.
Hello, guys.
Last but not least, Jamie.
Hey, guys. Good to be back. I missed the last one, and I'm happy to be here.
So happy to have you back. So anyway, today we're going to actually kind of go over a few challenges that Declan has. Hopefully you'll be able to actually recognize, some of the challenges that Declan's going through, and hopefully you'll be able to actually kind of, move forward as, we're going to be going through the podcast and, offering solutions for those challenges. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce, Declan.
Well, I'm Declan. I just moved back from New York. I'm 22. I was living there for 4 or 5 years around that time. And ever since I got out of high school and moved to New York, 22, so I've had financial struggles up the wazoo. I've been couch surfing, and that's kind of my forte, and I've been doing it for like 5 years now. I can keep a job pretty well, but just having a consistent financial growth. My parents aren't really in the picture in terms of financial advice. I just feel like I'll get money and then it'll just kind of like dwindle away, or like kind of I'll spend it, and before I know it, I'm broke again. And so I guess what I came here, the goal that I came here with is just trying to find some like financial stability, or any sort of stability in my life, because it's pretty unstable, if I'm being honest.
Well, you're an artist, right? You're an actor?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you, how you got into it, because I think that's important for the audience to hear, how you got into acting, and then, I'd like to hear about that.
Totally,
so how did you get into it?
So I went to high school with Jamie, and
We're old friends, Declan and I.
Yeah, old friends for sure. And we both got into acting because of this awesome theater teacher that we had named Nancy Fracciola.
Shout out.
Yeah, she's amazing. And yeah, she got me super into acting, and I had always been into it. I since watching, Percy Jackson, that movie with Logan Lerman. It's Logan Lerman, right?
Yeah, it's Logan Lerman.
Yeah, ever since that movie, I wanted to be an actor, but it never really
It's a crazy movie
came
to get you into acting.
What I liked about it was the fact that it was this like crazy world.
Yeah.
And you could just lose yourself in alternate reality. So ever since then, I always liked acting, and yeah, so I got into it.
What is it? I want to ask you, what is exciting about acting for you? What is the excitement from?
That's a good question. I would say Jim Carrey, I don't know if I'm butchering this quote, but I've heard him say that acting, like taking on a role, is like a vacation from himself. And I kind of like that, where you're substituting your life and the issues in your life in a way, or the emotions that you have around that, and putting it into a completely different person and scenario, and living their experience, but kind of relating to them in some sort of way.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a way to channel your own emotions into a different outlet that's maybe not quite as personal.
Yes.
And a little bit easier to wrap your head around.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's I think it's important to connect, with what excites you, and I think that's kind of the first part that I think can help someone to really kind of be happy, because I think everyone has a purpose, everyone has something to do here, and I think if you can connect with that thing, as soon as possible when you actually kind of come in here. I think the easiest,
Yeah,
because I think, that's when the road gets a little bit easier, so to speak.
totally.
Might
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, in terms of then success for you, or like where you see yourself, or where you'd like to see yourself, in terms of, I mean, obviously there's the financial side of things, and there's also the artistic side of things. What's your goal in terms of like 5 years from now? Where would you like to be, or how do those two things intersect, or is one a priority, or?
yeah. I think the issue is money has been like not a priority to me. And acting and that 5-year goal of being able to work as a creative is my priority. And the financial goal that I have is pretty much just to keep afloat. And at this point, I'm not. So the 5-year goal is to be a working actor and writer and just constantly working on creative projects, because that fulfills me. But right now, the finances aren't allowing for that. So
Well, I think, in every career, and especially as an artist, it's not like, you're going to get paid right away. It's always kind of a bit of a struggle, so to speak. That's why I was asking you, is it really the thing that you want to do? Because if you're really doing the thing that you really want to do, then it doesn't really matter at that point. I understand it's very challenging, and I think, everyone has to pay bills, so on and so forth. But at the same time, if you know that you're doing the right thing, then you're on the right path, and things will kind of, come together to support you.
yeah,
So that's kind of really the idea.
totally.
And so I'm glad that, you're doing what you love, because that's number one. And if you aren't doing it, I would actually ask you what else, because I think that's the most important thing. And then I don't think, the finance is really the issue. Yes, it is, of course, to pay your bills and so on and so forth. But I think, when I'm looking at, you wrote a few things about, your challenges, and about, basically procrastination, where you feel like, you feel comfortable, procrastinating. Is that really what you meant when you were writing this?
Yeah, I definitely, I'm a
What is
number one procrastinator.
what is the thing that, you think you're getting from it?
From procrastination?
Yes.
I think I get a sense of comfort out of it. And I think that comes all the way back from like school, where, not doing that homework assignment and instead going outside and hanging out with friends was like, I felt like I was taking me time. And when it comes to the creative stuff, the procrastination is a lot different in the way of, I know I'm messing up, and I know I'm.
So does it affect actually your career, like as an actor?
The procrastination, I would say, big time. I would say, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Because, most of the time you procrastinate with things that you are not, engaged with, that you're not feeling passionate about. So that's very important to actually kind of know why you are still doing that,
yeah,
when it's still kind of regarding, your career as an actor.
yeah.
So do you have any idea why you feel that way? I mean, you said like, you feel comfortable, but what is the thing? Because that's really what you want to do. That's really kind of your passion.
Yeah.
So why do you think that you still want to be kind of doing that, regarding that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I think because it is described as such a far-fetched goal, which it is in a lot of ways, to be a working actor, I think the procrastination is kind of me responding to, I have all this financial chaos, and then when I think about the fact that I want to be an actor and I look at the state of my life, I'm like, maybe I should focus on finding a bed as opposed to a couch, and then kind of putting that in the backdrop and in the background, if that makes any sense, and not prioritizing acting.
Mm-hmm.
But then I do kind of come to realize that, like, there is the broke artist, and there is the, it's a inherently freelance job. Like you're going to be broke, and there's countless stories of famous actors who were living out of their car, waiting for that next big audition or whatnot. And so I guess I'm kind of there, except I'm not auditioning.
Okay.
So.
Can I say something? I just think it's interesting because I know you. I will say I think that you do procrastinate when it comes to responsibilities a lot of the time, but I would say when you have a creative drive towards something, you don't really procrastinate. I think you have the capability of working very hard. For context, like, you know, we've done many projects together, written many scripts, and I think when you're actually passionate about something, you have a lot of drive towards it. I think it's the dauntingness of all of the bigger, more like adult responsibilities
Yeah.
of, like, you know, bills, job, that sort of stuff is where you kind of fall into more like procrastination patterns.
Totally. But I think it also takes like having a project that I'm passionate about, which is something that we have that we're working on. So I think that helps me a lot. But if I didn't have that sort of like goal right in front of me, like a project that I cared about, I think I would definitely let the pressure of all the other adult stuff kind of consume me.
Okay. So in some way, it's kind of a way for you to kind of focus your mind on other things. So you kind of, you know, have a bit of a, it's challenging for you to kind of feel like you have to support yourself around supporting yourself as a human being, as a person, like, you know, paying your bills and so on and so forth. It creates a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Seems like, you know, that's where, you know, I would say the procrastination would come from. It's like, you know, that sense of, you know, it's not comfortable. You're not comfortable with that. And maybe if you're more comfortable with it, then you wouldn't do that. And you'd be like more proactive.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're avoiding the responsibilities that stress you out and taking time for the ones that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, on one hand, you know, your creative life is a responsibility for you, but it doesn't stress you out as much because you enjoy it. So you're willing to work hard on your scripts and your whatever you're acting.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to like finding a job or paying your bills or doing all the adult stuff, it's like, oh, I don't enjoy that, so I'm going to avoid it.
Yeah, it really is like that.
You know, it's I have to say, life is a journey. So I think, you know, doing all those things are part of you becoming even a better actor. I'm just saying this because I like to kind of switch, you know, the narrative around this, where, you know, doing this is not actually kind of putting anything on the side. It's actually making me a better artist, because it's a life experience. And I think, you know, when you actually go get a job and meet other people and, you know, you make connection, but also you grow as an artist, you grow as a person. I think that's what you want to put in your art as well. So if you can maybe kind of switch maybe the narrative, or like the belief that you have about, you know, hey, you know what, going to work and, you know, go that route, or is it taking me away from my path? It is not, really not. It's actually adding up to it. Your focus still need to be like on your acting and going to auditions and so forth, but you have to embrace that as well, because it's not helping you right now. And I think, you know, you're feeling that way as well.
Yeah, totally.
So, and also I feel like when you, and I was talking about that, about needs. I think, you know, when you actually kind of feel like your needs are not being, you know, met in terms of financial, like safety, let's say, like just having like the bare minimum, you cannot really function very well. And so in that case, you cannot really go to an audition and feel at peace with yourself, because you're already thinking about, man, I have no gas to go back home.
Yeah.
You know, and those things can really affect, you know, you as an actor. When you go to an audition, people feel that. So, and if you're not feeling, you know, good about it, then that's probably the first thing to work on.
Yeah.
Because as I was saying earlier, I think I was talking to Jamie about that, you know, if that's not an issue for you, if you can go to an audition and focus on your work 100% and be 100% and be broke, that's fine. No big deal. You know, I mean, that's like, you know, that's just your journey. But if it's actually creating like some stress and you feel like, you know what, this is not the way I want to go, then you have to make adjustment. And today we're here for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So to kind of change the narrative, change maybe the belief about that.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, I'm going to just ask you a question. What would you need to believe? What would you need to believe to actually see going to work and getting like, you know, a job, you know, be good for you? What is kind of belief that you would have to have to go in that direction and feel comfortable with it?
Well, I mean, honestly, what you just said, the change of narrative, I think that thought has slightly occurred to me before, but hearing it just then, I think, made me feel a lot better about the state of my life. And I do think, yeah, if I see this as life experience and as me rounding myself as a person and therefore an artist,
Yes.
I look at this very like in a different way, in a more positive light. I think it is like those kind of essentials of you know, sleeping on a couch as opposed to a bed that make me feel like, oh, should I really be devoting my time to being an actor right now, or should I be devoting my time to focusing on changing that couch to a bed? So I think it's Yeah, I think it's all kind of noise. It really isn't. It isn't like something I'm directly worried about when I go into an audition room and I'm like, I can't. I have this to worry about and this. I don't feel ready. It really isn't that linear. I guess it's just noise. I just feel like stressed by the chaos.
Okay. Well, you can have both. You can be a great artist and focus 100% on your career and also have a job.
Yeah.
You can do both. You can just switch your hat and you're someone else. And it's also, as an actor, it's you're learning something new.
Yeah.
So I think, I think changing the narrative about, either going one way or the other, it's this and that. It's not this or that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that really make you actually a more complete
Yeah.
artist and human being.
That's a great point.
Because, you can learn from basically getting to a job and learning new stuff.
Yeah.
I always say, do the things that you need to do when you need to do it. You need to actually kind of be in touch with that and follow your excitement and understand that if the excitement is not there to go get a job because you have a narrative and you have a belief that it's not a good thing for you, it creates stress, and then also it takes you away from your career in some way, your path. And then if we change that, and we'll change it today, you can actually feel more comfortable to get a job and feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And learn more, and who knows, meet people that actually will help your career.
Yeah, totally.
To actually kind of, go to the next level. So that's another thing. The best, and I would say like, the most valuable assets is people. It's connection, people you're connecting with, and that's really what's going to actually bring you to the next level. But I think, what we need to do today is to really kind of change that. Have a belief that's going to actually support you to kind of get up and then, what? I can do both and be happy doing both. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing today.
That's great.
I will say, again, as somebody that knows you quite well, which I think is interesting, it adds a layer to this interview that I haven't had before with any of the guests, is just the fact that I know you, is that I think that you do have a tendency to view things in like black and white, as in like, I'm either 100% this or I'm 100% that. And I think it seems like it's very difficult for you to figure out a way to like make time for like the responsibilities of being an adult and then the passion and goals I have as a creative. And I feel like a lot of the time for you, it's like you're either 100% in on one or you're 100% in on the other. Because I remember when you were living in New York and you were working more consistently as a bartender for like 2 years, you weren't really focusing on your art at all. You were just in on work. And then now that you're back in LA and you don't have a job now, you're 100% in on your art and you're not really focusing on your work.
Yeah.
And so I think, there's definitely there seems to be some sort of mental wall between, finding time to do both. And I'd honestly be curious to ask Crystal if that has anything to do with the makeup of your system. Whoops.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I was listening and I'm taking a bunch of notes, but Declan, are you familiar with human design? Have you ever heard of it, by the way?
No, I haven't actually. No.
Okay. So human design, it's basically a tool that gives you a map of your energy. And this map can tell you a lot about your traits, your tendencies, natural strengths, how your energy works, how you're designed to make decisions, how you're here to move through life. And it's kind of like a personality map, but very, very detailed and specific. And what makes it really powerful and, why we use it here on this podcast is because it's a map that can guide us into making the best decisions for ourselves and, living as our most authentic version of ourselves. And that's how we can also open up that path of least resistance as we navigate life, as we have to make these different decisions. And it's very insightful. It tells us a lot about ourselves, our different tendencies. And if there are certain tendencies that create resistance, or if there are certain patterns that stop us from reaching our goals, then it gives us that awareness of, okay, what do we need to do to switch that? And so, looking at your human design chart, first of all, just to give you the basics, and then Jamie, I'll get into your question around where I see. So first of all, Declan, you're what we call a manifester. You have a manifester design, and this is one of the very powerful auras that we have in human design. It's like 9% of the population. And this is basically someone that's here to initiate, someone with a very strong presence, right? When you walk into a room, it's very likely that people notice your energy. People notice you when it's kind of hard to blend in and hide, right? And so that's the type of energy that you have. And you're here to spark these new ideas, spark these new movements and different directions. And you have this creative urge that, comes in bursts. It's not something that is, maybe always going to be in this linear path, but you have this urge. And when you're really into it, and I guess this kind of goes with what Jamie was saying, when you're really into it, you can be very, very committed to it. You can be very, very, in the zone. But it might not always be sustainable. And, the thing is, that's just a natural part of your rhythm. That's just a natural part of your energy. And so some people, when they see that go away, or when they see that, maybe it even shows up as procrastination, or we might start to think it's procrastination, but it's really just a natural part of our energy. We need that downtime to get that creativity back, right? So when you can recognize that, it doesn't feel so scary sometimes, right? You allow it to give yourself, you allow yourself to get that space and allow that room for the creativity to come back. But going back to, I guess, Jamie's question now, around finding balance. Balance is one of the big learning themes in your chart. So finding that balance between, finding a stable rhythm, finding a stable pattern for yourself, and also doing things that, create progress, that create change in your life as well. And so I can see that duality with finding or committing yourself to a more stable type of job, and then also pursuing that thing that creates progress and change in your life. This is one of the core energies. And so, when I'm looking at your chart, one of the core expressions that you have, it's all around this energy of change and progress. You're someone that, might really love adventure and not like doing the same things all the time. However, there is also a part of you on the other side that gets that grounding and balance and stability from certain patterns, from certain rituals. And that could be something as simple as having that financial security as well that can make that difference. And so one of the big things that you're learning, especially as you reach up to age 30, right? As you're going through the next maybe 10 years, it might even feel a little bit more chaotic than, it's going to slow down when we look at your chart. It's something that is going to, calm down. But a lot of these experiences that are happening right now are happening for you to learn that balance, for you to challenge you in that way. And it, eventually things will settle. But what I also see that can help with that chaos. And actually, I had a quick question. Like, when you say chaos, is that because of the spending in terms of the money? Is it because of that instability from not having too much focus around that part of it? Or
Yeah, I think well, so when I was in New York, I was 100% focused on my job, and I had a great job. I was making like $100K a year, which was insane for me, being a no qualifications bartender. I was just making that off of tips purely. And then I feel like the chaos is very self-induced. Like I just would start kind of, I knew I had to move out, say, in August, and I would not find a place till, days before I had to move out. And it was stuff like that.
And so what I see in your chart is there is this kind of like inner conflict where your innate nature wants to do things fast. You want to be spontaneous in the way that you make decisions. However, there's also a part of you that makes the best decisions when you're giving yourself time to make those decisions first, instead of, maybe making a decision right in the moment, giving yourself that space, even a day, to make decisions. And that's, so basically what I'm describing is you have what's called an emotional authority, meaning you're someone that lives life with these emotional kind of waves, right? You feel the highs high, the lows low, especially when it comes to new experiences. You get really excited about it and you're like, let's go, right? But what can happen is that this wave can sometimes create these rose-colored lenses and cause you to say yes, before your body is actually sure about it, right? And so one of the strategies for you in terms of making the most reliable decisions for yourself is when it comes to, especially like, any kind of decision that's going to have some kind of significant impact on your finances, on your career or relationships, whatever the case is, giving yourself that space and time first to get things in place if you need to and feel into it, right? Check in with yourself the day after. You have this inner timing that basically needs to be clear first before you jump into something. And waiting, even if it's just like, again, one day before doing that, you'll find so much clarity. You'll find that things will come to you that you might not have realized in the moment that you were making it, because we're super excited about that next step or that next change, that next adventure, right? But then your body sometimes will realize, okay, well, this is going to create a little bit more chaos if I do that. And ironically, what I see is your driving force, your motivating force. What motivates you is, number one, to have these new experiences, to gain experience in life. However, because of this energy, it's also called the gate of crisis. The reason why it's called crisis is because when when you're going from a place of inexperience to experiences, you're going through all these different adventures, you're going to encounter, different crises, different obstacles that are happening for you to learn, to grow, to build skills as well, to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. You really hit it on the head there. Yeah, that's very, that
really
feels like it applies.
Definitely. And then the fact that, there's the perfectionist aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
Wanting to do things really well also could also affect, bring some more pressure and so forth. So, but I think, what Christelle brought up as well is the, give you a little bit, there's a lot of things that you said. I'm sure you can recognize yourself, because I definitely kind of see that as well in some ways, some shapes, some forms. But I think, yes, like having like more routines and kind of rituals that actually can actually help you to be more grounded, and that's kind of one part also that kind of help you kind of be not as be more proactive as well. So
yeah, totally. I've had so little routine in my life. I feel kind of scared of it for some reason.
What would happen, if you were doing that? What is the fear behind? What is the thing that really keep you from doing that? Because there's some benefit from doing it on some level, but it's other part of yourself that feels like I don't want to be responsible for whatever reason. There's maybe something tied up to it. I wanted to ask you a question, and I'm gonna ask you if in your family dynamic, let's say with your parents, how did it go with that? Are they very structured? Are they very like
Yeah, they're very not. They're very, so they kind of, I think are examples of the kind of, I guess they share that quality that I have of like the chaos financially, and they both are like couch surfing as well. They both don't have insurance. And so I think it kind of runs in the family in a lot of ways.
Well, I think, you don't want to be like putting yourself in the same, bag. But I want to say this is like, a lot of times, children, they want to actually kind of, do the same thing than the parents, because they want to be like them, because people wants to be loved. Kids wants to be loved. And a lot of time, they're going to be the same way than the parents are, just because that's the way it is. That's how my family is. And that's my family, and I love them, and I want to be loved by them, so I want to be like them. Mm-hmm. That can maybe ring a bell.
Yeah, totally. And I don't think it's occurred to me as much that it is really like I'm hung up on this chaos that is at this point completely self-inflicted, by my lifestyle. And I think my fear around ritual and routine is the unfamiliarity, and just thinking that I've never been on top of my stuff. So the idea of having to be and having the responsibility that if I do mess up, it is fully my fault. It is a little easier to blame things on, everything in my life is chaotic right now. So I can kind of chalk it up to that. If something goes wrong, I'm like, oh, well, look at what I got going on.
I want to say something. In the word responsibility. It's two words, response and ability. So it's a good thing. You have the ability to respond.
Yeah.
So it gives you power. So responsibility is actually powerful
Yeah.
if you actually kind of divide the name.
Yeah.
And you can look in that way. And that's what you want in your life. You want some certainty. Right
Yeah.
now you don't have any certainty, and that's what you actually are yearning. You really want to have that sense of, stability.
Yeah.
And I think, it's definitely boils down to that.
Yeah.
Aside from, of course, your human design
Mhm.
charts and, your energetic, blueprint, so to speak. But yes, I think, you coming up to that chapter where you feel like, what, things has to change.
Yeah. Totally.
Everything in life is out of contrast. So when things happen, you start to have contrast of things that you want and don't want. And right now, I think you're like in a juncture where you feel like, this is not what I want anymore.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it really isn't. And I really like what you said about the response ability, because I do kind of see it as noise, and I don't see it as an opportunity to respond differently or to prepare myself, and thinking that it's within my control to respond to it, and I have control.
Yes. But and this is really kind of what's happening. But this is going to be changing today. And it's going to change in your life because you right now have realized this is not what you want. Something has happened. There's a shift that has happened, and you don't want this anymore. And therefore, that's the first thing. And when you actually make that realization, it changes right away. So it's not like you're going to have to do much more at this point. We're going to do some work here. But I think just, making a decision that, this is not the life you want anymore. And you want to be proactive and do the things that's going to help you to be who you really are. And today we're going to be working on some beliefs, and I already wrote them down for you, that can actually help you to feel more safe and secured and at peace with yourself to begin with. And being responsible is the good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be doing this. So before turning to the belief statement and going, through the muscle testing and the procedure, I wanted to ask, Crystal, you have anything else to kind of add up to this? Because I had a lot of things that we talked about.
Yeah. I guess like one thing that's really, um, I guess would be really helpful to know is that as a manifester, what your underlying motivation behind all the things that you do is, it's all about living in peace. And so that sensation of peace or that feeling of peace is a sign for you that you're in the right place. You're, aligned with your being. And so if you're feeling, on the other hand, so basically manifestors have themes that we can see as signposts as to whether or not we're following the right path for ourselves, right? Um, One is peace. And so that's that sign that, you know, you're listening to yourself, you're living authentically, you are in the right place, going in the right direction. On the other hand, if you're feeling whether it's anger, irritation, displeasure, resentment, right? That's the opposite signpost of saying, okay, well, there's something, and it's not always gonna. It's just because you feel those doesn't mean that, oh yeah, I'm misaligned. That is more of a sign to say, okay, well, is there it's something to like say, let's look a little bit deeper. There could be something there. Or there's likely something there that needs to change, that needs to shift, so that I can experience more peace in my life, right? And so ultimately, your body is wanting to feel at peace. And so right now, what we see is this conflict of interest inside where maybe you weren't modeled what you needed most, which is the structure, the responsibility, the planning, in order to feel that peace that you ultimately want to feel. And so, it's a process. And, trust me, I've been there where I've also had to learn to do a lot of these things myself and on my own. And it's possible to be both. It's possible to get there. So yeah, I mean, you're doing awesome. So just keep going and, yeah.
Yeah, talking about structures and things like that, my mom is an astrologist and my dad is an artist, is a painter. My dad passed away, but I really lived, the artistic life all my life as a teenager. I mean, I was basically, I went back to my family when I was about 6 years old. So basically from 6 to 14 when I started to work, it was we lived in Italy, Spain, France, Belgium, we're all over the place. So I didn't have really any structure. So I had to kind of create that for myself, and I already knew that it was the right way for me to go and to actually do things. So when I actually kind of started to exercise, which was really kind of something I love to do right from the get-go, it created structure for me. And so I think there's other things that in your personal life that you can find that might become a structure for yourself, something you feel really good about. It's not like you have to force yourself to do something. Again, Christelle said, listen to yourself, what feels right. And then also there's sometimes, because it doesn't feel right, it's not wrong. It's just like it tells you some stuff about yourself. It kind of tells you, that's the kind of belief I have about certain things, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. But sometimes you have to go through those periods where you feel uncomfortable about certain things, because it's just a process, and it's not a bad thing. It just tells you, hey, this is what's going on here. Yeah. But at this juncture of your life, I can tell that you're ready to make adjustment and switch. So
big time, yeah, and I
good.
Definitely think I follow that piece, and maybe there is no true peace. Maybe there's always another thing I have to prepare for and respond to. I don't know. Maybe
it's a journey anyway. So I want to say this because you get one thing, and then let's say you set yourself a goal for, and there's another goal after.
Yeah.
And another one. So it's just like it's a journey.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add on to that. Peace is, when we think of peace, sometimes we think of like Zen, Buddha kind of peace, but that's kind of right. Peace can also mean the peace of being uninterrupted in your creative flow, doing what you love to do, right? And so so one of the things that can also be very it can throw off manifestors is when you're being interrupted in your flow, right? So sometimes, again, you need that space for you to just do your thing. But if, let's say, for example, when we tie this back to the instability, that instability, or whether it's finances, that can be the thing that is constantly interrupting your peace as you're trying to do certain things, as an example, right?
Yeah,
you can use that actually as an inspiration to make adjustment and change, not to see like the downside of things, but basically that's the advantage I'm getting from doing this. And when you focus on things that and if you focus on the fact that it's going to be beneficial for you, you're going to have more juice to go towards doing the things that you need to do for yourself. So
that definitely changed the way I was looking at that. I almost looked at striving for constant peace as a negative thing or unrealistic in my chaotic world, but now I see that a different way of it, and I do want to install structure into my life to like find that peace. That sounds very
try to reach nirvana. You're just trying to get more
yeah, I guess maybe I thought it was nirvana for a second.
No, we're gonna actually come to the part where we're gonna actually read some beliefs. I created those beliefs. I just went through the form that you actually kind of sent us, and I just kind of look at it. I have way more information now that I have met you, and we have talked, and Christelle's also, insights. So it might be a little bit different now, but I definitely have created a few things. There's one thing that I want to kind of add up to it, and it's regarding responsibility, and and also structure, how good it could be for you. So, but I wanted I'm gonna have you read this, okay? Yeah. And then we can talk a little bit more about it. So you can just go through this, just read them out loud for yourself, or inner. But I think by being out loud, I think it's going to be actually more powerful. And then you can actually tell us what resonates with you the most.
Heard. All right. So statements: 1, I am safe. 2, I deserve. 3, I am capable. 4, I am supported. I am loved. And 5, I am powerful. Should I keep going with the 6, I am accepting, surrendering, and letting go of my current states of affair. 7, I am letting go of all my fears and worries. I would like to believe that 1, it is safe for me to
Yeah. So there's some example underneath. You can look at it, but those are basically suggestion, and you can always create your own.
I see. Okay, heard. Yeah, I totally I feel like I need to I don't know, really change my perspective here.
So just so because I don't know if you're a little bit kind of aware of this, but beliefs are more or less like a software in a computer. So if you basically have let's say you have a job to do on your computer and you don't have the software, you're not going to be able to do it. Doesn't matter if you have a beautiful Mac. Doesn't matter. So it really kind of, that's the first step, to have a belief, to actually kind of help you to do something, to achieve something. So being safe. And so we're going to actually do an exercise. We're going to do a few things today about this. I really kind of, when I was actually looking at, what you wrote and, what you are going through as a challenge, I really thought about, I had a picture of, working your chakra to rebalance your chakra. And it's kind of, it's not going to be that long. We're going to do some tapping. And then after we'll do some muscle testing to actually kind of, I would say, upload a new belief that you feel like, would be the one you want to have to be true.
Okay.
For yourself. That's going to help you move forward. So when you actually kind of look at the first one, I'm safe, right? So you can uncross your legs. I'm uncrossing my legs. And we're going to actually kind of do something that's going to actually help you with your chakra. We're going to use safe. I'm safe. That's the first chakra, is to be feeling safe. And we're going to just do with your hand here. You're going to just, as you say, I'm safe. And you're going to hit
here, I'm safe.
And you're going to do like this. You just follow. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. You say it 3 times. Then you're going to go here. So you're going to be like...
say the same,
yeah,
I'm safe.
Yeah, I'm safe.
I'm safe.
I'm safe. I'm safe.
safe.
Then you're going to go on the side. I'm safe.
I'm safe.
I'm safe. Underneath the eye. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. Then you're going to take your 2 finger and you're going to actually go on the side like this.
I'm safe.
I'm safe. I'm safe. Good. You're going to go on the thymus, like on your chest. You can make your hand like that. And I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. Now you're going to go here where you have your ribs. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. Good. And then you're going to do your hand and you're going to just kind of hit like that. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. Now you go to the other statement. So I'm safe, then
I deserve.
I deserve. And you're going to do the same thing 3 times. I deserve. 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 2 fingers. I deserve. I deserved. I deserved. Chest. I deserved. I deserved. I deserved. On the other side. I deserved. I deserved. I deserved. And then on your karate chop. I deserve. I deserve. I deserve. Now we'll go to the next one. I'm capable. 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 So this is really kind of realigning your chakras. So those are like center of energy. In human design, we think that as well. This is kind of, also something that's going to actually help you to really kind of feel like you're connected. And every time you tap, it's like needles, but without needles. So, and it's EFT. So it's emotional freedom technique. And it does help you to actually feel more comfortable. So let's say when you have like a goal or something you don't feel kind of comfortable with, and when you're tapping and repeating the same sentence or the same word or the same statement, you're gonna feel like it's gonna actually kind of calm you down. You're gonna feel more like at peace with it, with the statement. So like your subconscious mind is gonna actually kind of feel like, oh, okay, that's true.
Okay.
Because when you feel uncomfortable and your body goes weak when you do muscle testing, or when you feel uncomfortable when you say something, let's say, I deserve to be loved. A lot of people go down on that. They were like, oh, it's weak. They don't feel comfortable with the idea of being loved, or loving themselves. And when you do this, it really can integrate the beliefs at the same time. But it's a very profound thing. It's not just intellectual, it's physical. It goes really inside and your subconscious mind as well.
Yeah.
So that's what it does. It really kind of helps you to really kind of master and also kind of have it for yourself.
Yeah, I can feel that in the repetition and with the certain places that you're hitting for sure.
A lot of time you feel like connected with, like, let's say sometime you feel like the thymus might be like oh yeah, I feel really good there. You feel there?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's different parts. So all those points are actually kind of connected, and they have a purpose. So when you actually tap them, they get activated. So
interesting. Yeah, I've never done anything like that. It's
so
very,
how do you feel after doing that?
Honestly, this part here, I think top of the head as well, the temple, just tapping them. I felt like, I don't know, the points that we're tapping are definitely the points that I feel tension in when I'm anxious, and actual like butterflies or tingles, like physical sensations from emotions. So it's interesting to kind of acknowledge those places by tapping them,
Mm-hmm.
and then have this mantra that you're repeating, and it kind of it I've never done anything like that. It's very interesting. It's definitely cathartic.
Which statement actually you felt like, oh, that was a little bit harder to do, or you felt like more release?
I think I'm capable was interesting for me, because it was saying that sometimes is a little like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think I'm capable of my goals or whatever. So it kind of feels like I'm manifesting it or attempting to. But then just saying it and kind of taking the immediate meaning away from the word and just repeating it. It made me feel a lot more calm with the idea of saying that.
Okay.
If that makes any
Absolutely.
sense.
Yeah. That's really kind of the
Yeah.
idea, is to really kind of feel comfortable with all those
Yeah.
statements, so you feel like, you're in tune, and that's really
Yeah.
kind of, it's really balancing, basically, more than anything else.
Yeah.
So the next part, and that's something for you that you can actually choose, you can read and you can add up anything you want.
Well, I'm capable to achieve the things that I put my mind to. I'm capable to support myself financially and also creatively and spiritually, and I'm capable to not see everything as chaos. I think, there's a little uneasiness when I say that, but I think there's so much I want to be capable of that just the general statement I am capable kind of covers everything.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You can be more specific at some point, and
Yeah.
we can do more work,
Yeah.
some other time. But
I would love
today
that,
we're gonna
yeah.
do definitely this one. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
really help you.
Yeah.
You're gonna just kind of, I'm gonna press on your arm. You're gonna just match. You're not gonna try to overpower me. But just kind of
Keep it in the same place.
Yeah, but don't force it. I'm gonna just kind of, I'm gonna say hold every time. And when I say hold, you just hold it. So, okay. Hold. Good. Perfect. Now you're gonna say your name is.
Declan.
My name is Declan.
My name is Declan.
Hold. Good. Relax. No, my name is Mike.
I say that?
Yeah.
My name is Michael.
Hold. Okay, good. We got that. Now you're gonna think about something you really don't like a food, a person, whatever it might be. Just when you have it, you tell me
That I don't like?
that you don't like. Yes.
I don't like fish.
Well, think about that and have a sense of it.
Okay.
Okay. Hold. Okay. Now think about something you really like. Okay, something like a food or whatever it might be. Something make you feel good. Okay, tell me when you're ready. Ready. You have it?
Yeah.
Hold. Okay, good. Now we're gonna repeat the statement, I am capable. All right, and just think about, whatever it entails to. Look down and repeat the statement, I am capable.
I am capable.
Hold. So this is pretty weak, as you can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we're gauging. It's not about
Yeah.
power, just gauging, whether it's true
Yeah.
for you or not. And obviously it is not true. So we're gonna actually cross your legs. I know it's gonna be okay. You're perfect. And you're gonna actually give me both arms. Actually, just kick this one right now. Then hold. Okay, switch. Switch to crossing. Go ahead. And then hold. Okay, we're gonna keep that one. So you're gonna actually bring this one on the top. And we're gonna just hold. Okay, switch. Hold. Okay, go the other way. Then you're gonna cross like this. Perfect. And you're gonna put your hand down on your lap. Just relax, and relax your head, relax your body. And you're gonna basically repeat in your mind or out loud, I am capable. And then you're gonna just kind of go through that. You're gonna probably at some point feel like a shift. When that's happening, you can open your eyes. But for right now, just repeat in your mind, I am capable. I am capable.
I am capable.
You might feel a bit uncomfortable with it. You might feel like, it's kind of a spreading your chest or some tension. It's all natural. It's just a shift you're going through. I am capable. I am capable. Whenever you feel like, a shift has happened, you can always let me know and open your eyes. Yeah, I'm capable. You feel it? I feel, I feel, okay, good. So you're going to basically bring your fingers together like this, and you're going to look at it, and you're going to repeat, I'm capable. I am capable. And so it is. And so it is. Good. Perfect. All right, you can uncross your legs, and you're going to give me your arm again. And I want you to actually can repeat the statement. I am capable. Look down again. I am capable. Hold. All right. As you can see, it's very different from that. Yeah. Okay, good. It's very quick, so that's how it done. So congratulations, brother. Thank you. You got it. Really, yeah. So now we're gonna actually kind of switch, and you're gonna talk to us about the what you felt. So there, you go on the other side.
Hey guys, you're watching this episode maybe, and you wonder, hey, I'd like to be part of this. I'd like to be a guest, or maybe I'd like to get some private coaching. The best thing you can do is to go on our website, BeThyself.us, and you're gonna find all the information that you need. You will be able to actually apply to be a guest, or also to book a private session. Thank you so much. And back to the episode. Declan, how do you feel now that we went through this process? And I'd like to actually kind of, tell us, how you felt throughout the process.
Yeah.
And how you're feeling now.
Totally. Yeah. I've never really done anything like that. I've worked with like mantras a little bit. And that kind of felt very similar. The repetition of a small statement, especially saying something like I'm capable initially. And even when I say that in general, I kind of cringe at the thought of that, probably because I don't think I am, but also because it feels like a manifestation where I'm trying to put that into the world, because I'm not actively, but saying that in the moment and saying it in my head to the point that it kind of, the words lost that feeling that it gives me, that cringe that it gives me. I kind of became so much more open to the concept of saying that, and it just became less scary to perceive myself in that way.
And you feel like a shift as you are going through the process as well?
Felt overwhelming, or not overwhelming, but just like a shift of calmness where that statement became less uncomfortable to me.
And that's exactly what happened now. By the way, this statement is now part of who you are on a subconscious level. That means you are capable. By the way, we're all capable. We might be capable of things we don't want to actually be capable of, but we're all capable of being anyway. But I think, in that sense, being capable of doing what you really want to do, be successful, be who you are, and have that right as well,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, happened today. Because today you are capable now on a deeper level. You're feeling that way. And that's really kind of the idea, is to really kind of give you that sense and that belief and that truth that you are capable.
Yeah.
But now of doing all the things that you want to do for yourself and the goals that you want to reach. It's capable. You are capable to do it now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of wanted to kind of achieve today, and I think we did.
Yeah, thank you.
And,
thank you.
So I'm really happy about that. Do you want to share something?
I mean, it's just interesting because this is the first guest that we've had on the podcast that's somebody that I know. And not only do I know, but he's like one of the closest people in my life. And so it's been particularly interesting for me seeing how he responds to this stuff and seeing him before and after the tapping and the muscle testing, because I can see a clear difference, even in just like your demeanor and your energy, as somebody that knows you very well and knows how you usually carry yourself. And so I think for me, it's fascinating as somebody else who doesn't really, I mean, I'm starting to learn a lot more as we do this podcast more, but I also don't really know too much about human design, muscle testing, all that sort of stuff. And it's very fascinating to see a person who I knew before and after, and see, kind of a shift in real time, at least to a degree of just, I can't say I can see inside your aura, but at least your energy seems to definitely be a little bit calmer. And I also, on that same note, it was just fascinating hearing about his human design chart, just because I know you so well and I've known you for years, and every single thing she was saying, I was looking at you like, damn, dude, she clocked you. Like, like that's exactly what it is. And so it's very fascinating to see that as, see that evidence myself firsthand beyond my own chart when I got it read with another person who I knew extremely well, and hearing all of these statements about you from your chart where I'm like, yeah, that's pretty on the nose. So I think, that's been very fascinating for me to see. And I think it's cool to see you going through this, and hopefully it does something for you. I can say, I definitely saw a difference after I did mine. When I was on the podcast, before I was a host with my own chair and microphone, we were talking about, my creative drive, and kind of feeling somewhat similar to you, lazy at times, or not feeling like I have that drive to, push myself and to accomplish my goals and to succeed as a creative. And since doing it, I've definitely felt a lot more driven, and I've been much more committed to projects, and I've been working on them really hard. I mean, with Declan alone, like, we're working on a project right now that we're really grinding at, that we've been doing every day. And I definitely feel a shift on my end since doing it. So it'll be really interesting, given the amount of time that we spend together and how I see you regularly, to see you and to see if you feel a similar shift as time passes since doing this.
Totally. And I think, talking to you and to you and to you as well, this has been beyond cathartic. Just a real perspective switch, which I honestly didn't anticipate coming in, because I've been pretty stuck to this perspective for years. Half a decade. So, it's really refreshing, and I'm super grateful. Thank you for having me on the show.
Our pleasure. And you're on your way. And I already, just as Jamie said, it's the first time we met. So, but I did see you when you came in, and I see you now. You're more grounded.
Yeah.
There's something that has happened that's going to actually carry on. It's going to help you, to the next step.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy we've done that today. So I'm really, really happy that, to have.
Yeah, likewise.
But yeah, any closing remarks, Crystal?
I guess like my only closing remark would be, now that you are capable, and, this is this new identity that you're taking away with you, one way to really ground that is to take those small actions. What would a capable person do? How would you live that? Um, because I feel like for you, it's like seeing is believing, and doing it is believing. And so that's going to help really ingrain that in you. And, just take those small ones. It doesn't have to be like doing a whole life makeover all at once, but give yourself that space, that compassion to do things, one step at a time. And you'll see like how much things are going to shift for you. And things can happen really fast. You're a manifester. You're here to initiate. And as soon as you make that decision, things can happen very quickly. It's just you deciding that for yourself whenever you're ready for that. So
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Yes, and I wanted to kind of piggyback on that. Yes, it's little things. It doesn't have to be big things, but I think, you're going to see the change as you're actually feeling that way about yourself, being capable. You're going to feel like, you're going to be able to do more things and be comfortable with the idea of doing it. So procrastination is not going to be such, a big deal at this point. You might still encounter that from time to time because it's a pattern that you've been accustomed to, but it will gradually kind of vanish. And you have that strong belief, and we'll probably do more beliefs. We'll do more, work together. But for whatever you've done today, this is kind of, you're being launched to a new life, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about that. And I'm very, grateful to be able to help you like this. And also, you help yourself, by the way. I want to say this because I don't help you. I just, facilitate you. You're already ready. And I could see it when you came into the podcast. You were really, ready to make that switch and to make an adjustment in your life. And I think this is really what, happened today. And I'm really happy about that.
Thank you so much.
So you're very welcome.
Yeah.
Jamie, do you want to say a last word?
I mean, I just, I agree with Serge. I think especially given this transitional time you're in your life right now, which is that you just moved back across the country, you're looking for a place to live, everything's kind of up in the air right now for you. Now is probably the best time of any to sort of, try to instill these beliefs subconsciously and keep them in the back of your head, because as your life continues to shift and as things continue to change for you and as you sort of find stability out here, I think it's good to have that mentality around it. and to keep that in the back of your head now and truly believe that you're capable of getting yourself to a point that you want to be. Because if there's ever a time to do it, it's right now as you're transitioning. So I think this is a well-timed moment of reflection and a way to get a little bit of direction in terms of what to do next. So.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree that the timing couldn't be more perfect, for real. So, yeah.
Fantastic. I'm so happy about that. Well, it's funny because we were going through the podcast and, things that you were saying, something kind of came up and basically, and you even talked about that after, but, being responsible, the ability to have a response. So for the viewer today, I just want to kind of give that, kind of a mantra, I would say this word like responsibility. That's the power. That's where, your power resides. You have the ability to respond. And that's something you want to kind of take with you and see it as being a powerful thing to have. Being responsible, it's a good thing. It's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
So, well, we come up to the end of this podcast, and I'm really happy to have, Declan on board. And thank you so much for being part of this.
Yeah,
and I'd like to thank, Jamie, my co-host, and of course, Christelle, my co-host all the way in Barcelona. Much love to you. And until our next episode, I really invite you to be thyself and live your life to the fullest. And until the next one, much love to you. Thank you. Hi guys, we have a big favor to ask you. The best way you can help us right now is to actually subscribe and to like this video. That would actually help us really grow this channel and also allow us to actually invite bigger guests that'll be able to help our guests and you as well in the process. Please subscribe and like this video. That would be the best way to help us.